What's up, Starcraft fans? Today we're doing the tier list for Wheel of Stupid on Donny Vermilion. Brian, let's hear the mutation.
Donny Vermilion, the best map in the game, is where we have to gather 20 Xenon crystals and return them to the stabilizer in the middle of our base. The crystals appear once lava recedes from the low ground, but we need to flee to the high ground while the lava is up. Random mutators cycle in for over 4 minutes and then cycle out for a new one. There are 3 active at a time and a mutator switches every 90 seconds.
So we have Zero and Eviling in the Culprit state. How are you guys?
Doing fine.
Doing fine. That's good. That's good to hear that you're fine. So, Eviling, how do we rank the commanders this week?
So how I intend to be ranking for my side is there's so many factors that happens with Chaos Studios, and it can be real easy, it could be insanely hard. The major point of contention here is if you can get the mission done faster, because it's limited by when you bring in all the crystals, that will decrease the amount of time that you could get screwed over by a bad mutation combination. So just hot take here is most of the commanders I have will be, I mean, even if they're pretty resilient to mutators, they will not be S to me. Any commander that has the ability to speed up the rate at which you can get the mission done quicker will be an S.
Interesting. How about you, Zero?
Yeah, so for me, it's mostly how resistant to mutators the commander is. Like the fewer combinations that screw you over, the higher you'll rank. And of course, I still agree with the getting mission done faster equals less RNG reliance. So that's
Yes.
still pretty important.
Absolutely. Alright, so there seems to be some sort of common ground at least. Let's begin. Abathur, where do we have him?
Abathur, I have him from A to B. He helps you. He's very resilient. His brutalists are fantastic at mobility and kind of getting around the map. If you have like a vision mutator come up, you can, if you have a basic idea where the crystals might spawn, you can deep tunnel a brutalist to those positions and then just scout out real quickly, and then deep tunnels on a 10-second cooldown, so use it very readily. But and he does have a method to help getting crystals faster. He does have Nidus worms. If he has a Kerrigan ally, he has Omega worms, so that's pretty
good.
So with that being said, due to what I was saying, I originally had him from A to B, but just thinking about what I said, he's S to A in my opinion.
He's S to A. Okay, how about you, Zero?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to him being S tier. There's no real mutator that truly screws him over. You may have to be careful with like Black Death so your brutalists don't get infected, but other than that you should be fine if it doesn't roll too early. And even if you get like Polarity with Vipers, you can stall a lot of the time for your ally to get there, which is one of the mutators that will most likely screw a lot of people over. So I think S tier makes sense for him.
Alright, both of you have Abathur in S tier. Let's put him in S tier. Aside from COVID and obviously polarity, what else does he have to watch out for? Minesweeper, for example?
Is Minesweeper even on there?
Propagators.
Poopagators?
Speed.
Well,
I mean, all commanders have to worry about that, but yeah.
except Zagara,
but
probably.
you at least have a way to deal with it, with like Toxic Nests or Vipers.
Yeah,
But you still
Toxic Nest,
have
I
to be
think.
careful.
Toxic Nest, I think, makes
And it's-
Abathur one of the better options against Poopagators. But you have to make sure you have to put it on every single entrance near your base. So you're
Kind of
making
the same
expansion.
Stukov problem. If you're running swarm hosts, yeah, as soon as you see Propagators spawn, back off all your locusts.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Oh wait, prestige-wise, you want 0 or 2, right?
Yeah.
Say
Alright,
two.
let's move on. Alarak, where do we have him?
Alarak. So this guy's somewhat notorious for just being affected or at least slowed down a lot by like the random midpoint mutators, which is what you'll be running into a lot here. Now that said, he clears very fast. So if you get like a good-ish roll early game, so you can just clear a lot of the map very quickly. The harder mutators that spawn from buildings like propagators will probably not be as big of an issue. But yeah, it's just there's a lot of mutators that really screw them over, especially if you get Black Death. You're kind of just useless for until it runs out, which isn't the greatest. So I have him like B tier.
B. How about you, Eviling?
I have Alarak from B to C. You can take the chance and go with P3, try to speedrun it and get it done as quick as possible. Clear the whole map. Clearing the whole map is also helpful if you get stuff like Outbreak or whatnot coming up. Otherwise, I would actually suggest going with P1, assuming that P1 has a little more flexibility with it. you can play differently. Like if double edge rolls or something like that, you have the ability to not rely so much on Alarak or a large hero unit like the Mothership. So B2C.
Okay, so aside from COVID, what other mutators would Alarak have to watch out for?
Double-edged.
Double-edged.
Let's see.
That's true.
Yeah, even like microtransactions. His units are
Yeah.
very expensive to move around.
Microtransactions.
Yeah, like rifts, you probably have to watch out for just because he can't really split very well, or like deep tunnel to them.
Well,
Yeah.
he can kind of deal with rifts if he knows that it's on the cards. Like, for example, if you start with Void Race, you know that you can't F2. You need to have Void Race in good spots. Whereas if it comes up randomly, you have to scramble and change your mindset all of a sudden, and not a lot of players can actually do that on the fly. So aside from that, I think also Fatal Attraction will
Yeah,
be
Fatal Attraction,
extremely
definitely.
annoying for him. He will have to retreat very fast. I think even something like
Going nuclear is kind of nasty for him too.
Yeah.
Go nuclear, yes, because the Mothership has a very large hitbox. I think even something like concussive attacks might annoy him a lot because he's not a very fast commander to begin with, especially if he doesn't just teleport.
Yeah.
Transmutation not so much. Mutual destruction can catch you by surprise, although that applies to any commander, but it can catch you by surprise. You also
In a weird
have
way, lava bursts also. They will
Killbots.
melt your Mothership and hero
Killbots.
unit.
Watch out for killbots.
Are Killbots even on there? Because I'm looking at the Maguro mutator list in Wheel of Misfortune, and it doesn't say it's on there.
Is it not on there? I thought it was on there. That could
the
be.
Maguro site might be wrong, but that's what I'm going off of.
I wouldn't assume that the Maguro site is wrong. I would actually wait. Okay, yeah, it's not on here. It's ordered alphabetically, and it's not on here. Missile command, I guess, could be annoying, but it doesn't stay. It doesn't stay
not
that
for
long.
Mothership.
It
Yeah,
shouldn't be an issue.
I mean,
In anything, it'll pad your kill count.
the only time that will be annoying is if it's past 15 minutes and you have to run back to your base for the nukes and stuff or intercept
Yeah,
them.
so.
Yes. Void reanimators can also be annoying, especially if you don't know where they are spawning from and when they are sending units from, and they're constantly on the move, reviving stuff. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so are we moving Alarak to B?
Alarak
Yeah.
is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Prestige-wise, you want the third one, right?
I'd say so.
All right, let's move on. Arcturus, where do we have him?
As I said, any commander that has the ability to make the mission go faster gets an S. So I have him from S to A because he can drop laborers. So as soon as you see the crystal, drop a laborer there, pick up, and go the way home. So you don't have to worry about stuff like lava burst, going nuclear or whatnot. At least for the halfway trip to get to the crystal, you still have to worry about going back, but that cuts that time out significantly.
All right, how about you, Zero?
Yeah, I'm fine with him as tier. He doesn't really get hard countered by anything that's in the rotation, and even if you get like speed propagators, which is the worst case scenario, you're still fine, because if it's like mid game, you'll have a fairly large trooper ball, which just kind of handles them even if they touch you. So yeah, I think S tier is fine for him.
Okay, let's put Arcturus in S tier. Prestige-wise, you want the third one?
Yeah, I'd say P3 here.
What mutators does he have to watch out for? Double-edged?
Yeah, I guess
Double-edge and
you don't really
propagators.
want to be ESOing when double-edged. You can still like contaminated strike, but yeah, just be careful.
Slim pickings?
But slim pickings, not really. It's only like a little
it's
bit of
set
time.
up
You're
to
not
be
getting
fine.
much money. Yeah.
But
And slim
your
pickings can't
resources
spawn
are
on the first mutator set.
permanently nerfed.
No, it's not permanent. Wait, is it permanent?
It is, yeah.
Really?
Not the harvesting rate, but the resource patches themselves get permanently nerfed.
Arcturus is not affected by that. There is one commander that is very affected by that, and we'll get
Oh,
there.
Yes.
no, poor guy.
Poor guy indeed. He doesn't even care
Our
about,
usual punching
he
bag.
doesn't even care that much about void reanimators. We move
Yeah, because bunker's
unseen.
good.
He can just explode his troopers.
This is
so that's the
inhumane.
thing.
Explode troopers.
Yeah,
bring
or fast
bring
build a
blimp around
turret.
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, build a turret on the field. Remember, troopers can build turrets.
Okay. That seems about right. Okay, let's move on. Artanis, where do we have him?
Kind of like Alarak, he will be getting affected a lot by Black Death, so yeah, just be careful. You could potentially go Tempest, so even if you get it, you just outrange, which I guess can work. As for the other mutators, he's actually not that terrible if they're only there for a little bit of time. Like, even if you get, like, what would even be, like, the worst case scenario for him other than, like,
COVID.
Black Death?
Transmutation.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, even then, he doesn't instantly die, especially because the dangerous mutators won't be there very long, and when they're there, you can kind of just rely on your top armor, because when you get the easy mutators, you can just bank up the energy, so for
Heroes of the
dangerous stuff,
Storm.
you'll have a lot.
Heroes of the
Yeah.
Storm might actually. Is it
No,
on
no,
here?
there's no heroes. No.
Yeah, it's not on
No,
here.
I've never heard those.
Yeah. So I think he's actually pretty solid here. Have him like A tier.
A tier. How about you, Eveling?
I'm kind of surprised because when you said he's kind of like Alarak, I thought we were going to be the same. I initially have Arcturus from B to C. I'm not opposed to putting him into A, but I'm a little questioning that because, it's still, it's preventing you from getting the mission done faster where you got to wait. You are banking the energy, but you're just extending the time that it's going to, you could potentially get everyone's favorite speed poops. Speed poops
Yes.
with we move on scene or something else now. So,
I played
Now, I have a question.
I played Afraid of the Dark with Poopigators. Very fun.
Now, if you were to get the one combination I thought of is speed poops with just die. Do the poops have double life?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Like every
yeah.
commander dies to that, pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Polarity Poops is worse, I
Yeah.
think. Polarity Poops is worse because both of
Yeah.
you have to be on every entrance.
Mm.
Anyway, so are both of you okay with A?
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what mutators does he have to watch out for? I'm assuming
like
Void
Black
Rifts.
Death.
Yeah, COVID.
Void Rifts, he's not terrible against. Dragons are surprisingly good, like hit squad units, because they have that passive regen. So, but yeah, of course, if you're not ready for them, then splitting may be quite difficult for some people.
Against Void.
And
Wait.
the other aspect, Arcanus does okay with double edge. Actually, he
Yeah.
his dragoons heal. Missile command might be a little painful if that spawns.
Missile Command, yeah. Outbreak even could be annoying.
Actually,
If you have
Power
two,
Overwhelming.
at least. Power Overwhelming will definitely annoy him, especially if the enemy starts spamming point defense drones, disruption webs,
power
blinding
overwhelming
clouds.
isn't there.
No, actually,
So
yeah,
power
you're right. It's
overwhelming
not. It's
is
not on here.
Yeah, we move and
Which
scene
list
is kind of
is-
awkward, just because you need an observer warped in, and Artanis doesn't always have a robo, especially in like the early mid game.
This list is
Especially if you're
shorter than
going
I
like
thought.
Stargate. Yeah.
Diffusion,
There's not that many dangerous.
Fatal
Diffusion,
Attraction. Fatal Attraction
no,
would
I'd
be
say
very
diffusion's
annoying.
fine, but yeah, fatal attraction's kind of bad.
Microtransactions annoying. Slim pickings annoying. Purifier Beam could be annoying if he has to move up and down ramps, or he
The
has
good thing
to.
about microtransactions is Tempests cost really low supply for what they are, so moving them isn't actually that expensive.
Are you going Tempests here?
I think so.
I
So you
think
can at least
Dragoons are
like
the
deal
better
with
call.
rolls.
Really?
I'd say so.
Both dragoons
Because you'd
and
get
Tempests.
extra screwed if. Oh wait, never mind. Yeah, I thought. Yeah. It's really expensive though. You get extra screwed if you get slim pickings. If you're going Tempests.
I mean, you don't lose.
And if you get
Tempests,
Zerg.
so-
If you get Zerg enemies, what are you gonna do about all the Zergs on the ground?
That's on the
Zealots.
ground. Yeah, zealots.
Yes. In that case, Fatal Attraction would be extremely annoying. Blizzard. I actually think Blizzard will be another very annoying one for Artanis.
I guess that's like one of the cases where you'd rather have dragoons because they kind of heal through it decently well.
Yes.
Still, no matter what, there's gonna be at least like for every commander, there's at least like one or two bad combinations. So
Yes.
we're kind of nitpicking here.
Diffusion is almost
think
negligible for
fine.
Tempests. Yeah, almost
Yeah.
negligible for Tempests. It's gonna be annoying if the enemy's Zerg, although that's true for almost everyone. Laser drill will be annoying, especially if you do run Tempests, because you have fewer units, so the laser can focus more on them. Purifier Beam, I still think Purifier Beam will be annoying for Artanis, because he doesn't have
The fusion kind
teleport.
of helps Tempest. Makes them turn into AoE. AoE.
They have splash
Long
now.
range AoE.
That's true. All right, so let's move on. Phoenix, where do we have him?
Yeah, Phoenix. So he's kind of just like the other Protoss, except his units are more expandable, which means in a way they're also
Expandable.
just
They
more
grow.
Expandable.
Expendable.
English
Expandable.
hard. It's only my first
Expendable
language.
is like
Come on.
Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jason Statham.
Anyway,
Anyway, so yeah, he won't care as much about a lot of the mutators just because his power level's just a lot higher for the cost. That said, like mutators like Dabblage will just make him like borderline useless for the time being, so he's still not the greatest. But yeah, other than that, I think he's fine against most things. Propagators may screw him up, and against like speed propagators, he's just kind of dead unless you have a large carrier ball, in which case you're not going P2, so that's a whole issue in itself. So yeah, I have him like B tier.
B tier. What do you think, Eveling?
Yep, that's pretty much Zero said it just like how I was thinking. He's very much like the other Protoss commanders. Yet if he gets the right set of mutators, he'll pretty much steamroll. If he gets the wrong mutator set, he's got to do some waiting. The Poopigators is definitely going to be the issue. Double Edge is definitely an issue. If Poopigators spawn, definitely find a nice place for Caudalis to sit and park him there for a while in the back of your main base or something. And another one that to be worried about is if you're running P2, aggressive deployment. That one is pretty damn annoying for your shell farms. But otherwise, yeah, just try to get the mission done quick. Make use of your conservators, and you should be okay. If you don't, just be prepared to reroll again and hope RNG's on your side. B to C.
Okay, both of you say B. Let's put Phoenix in B. Aside from what Water mentioned, what else does Phoenix have to watch out for?
C.
I think environmental mutators also apply to Phoenix because every time he loses a champion, he has to send the new one from, I assume, the expansion. Or do you have your shell farm near the fighting? Do you have the shell farm near the fighting?
It's probably better to have near the fighting, because if you get like environmental mutator, you can always just spawn the Arbiter in your base and just teleport them if it's too dangerous.
Okay.
It's a bit reactive, but it shouldn't be too big of an issue. I think we move unseen still kind of screws him over, just because his observers are really low health with P2.
If
the shell farm that I keep near the fighting is our gateway units. So I usually bring a conservator up and then hotkey that to the gateway champions. And then
if you have we move unseen, just use the Arbiter suit, by the way.
Yeah, that could work. It's just then you're not using the other suits, which is also some of an issue.
Yeah, I guess. But like, at least you have a band-aid until you have observers.
Some observers around.
Yeah. Laser drill could also be annoying because he only has a few units and they'll be targeted down pretty quickly, and then the wait time is gonna be painful. Actually, I think it was something like
one is Fatal Attraction.
Yes, Fatal Attraction certainly will
turn. Diffusion. How have we not said this yet? Diffusion screws him over pretty hard.
Diffusion will also be annoying. Missile command even. Yes. Double-edged also will make it really really painful and expensive to keep sending the champions over and over again. So yeah, there are a lot of mutators. Let's move on. Han and Horner. Where do we have them?
Han and Horner. They're usually not too mutation resilient, to a lot of fragility, but there's a lot of mutators that they kind of don't really care about. So it's a real toss up. In my opinion, they're B to C. If you don't have real nasty ones such as Black Death or speed poops, things like that, you should be able to get by pretty easily. P1 is pretty good because of instant mag mines. If you especially have your full mastery points into that, it's a lot of free damage going around. P2 allows you to have cheaper corner units that you can tack jump around and clear the ways easier. But yeah, it's if you got, I'm trying to think of a real bad one for them to have.
Real bad one?
Really.
Fatal Attraction. Yeah, COVID, Fatal Attraction.
Fatal Attraction, yes.
Transmutation.
Fatal Attraction would do it.
No.
Transmutation.
Voiders are their breakfast.
You can kind of get around that with.
We move unseen.
Breakfast?
Yeah, they eat Voiders for breakfast. They have air strikers.
Yeah. We move unseen. Why is that a problem for them?
They'll have to put in Ravens and stuff.
Why is that a problem?
Because they die.
Okay. Don't let your ravens die.
They don't have the long vision range that the observers and overseers do when sieged, and they don't have the tankiness that Omega Worms have. So they're not on the same level as those detectors.
Yeah. I
even
to say about that. I get it for P1 because you're limited by charges. For P2,
even Orbital Strike will be annoying.
Use auto charge.
Even Orbital Strike will be annoying for Han and Horner. Pure Fire Beam.
Orbital Strike, I'm not too worried about that. Going nuclear is annoying for them.
No, I would say Orbital Strike is, I guess.
Missile command. Your galleons will die.
Yes.
At least they have eminent domain sometimes. That's not even useful much on this map.
If eminent domain comes on, Han and Horner becomes momentarily S tier.
Double F.
Triple S tier for like 2 minutes.
And they walk their galleons to the enemy base like, ha ha! And then all of a sudden the eminent domain cycles out and then they lose all their production.
Just a note, if eminent domain comes up with Poopigators, I don't think your galleons
no, it
are
doesn't.
Because it's
you have to watch it still.
That's such a niche thing. Anyway, what else?
opinion,
Blizzard will also annoy Han and Horner because they just don't have enough health to just walk through Blizzard. they will die in Blizzard.
And the strike fighters are by Blizzard too.
Yes. Do twisters affect air strikers?
I don't think they knock them around, but they do damage them, which is still a pretty big issue because strike fighters have 50 health.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not sure if they would die.
So do we have Horner in B?
I'm
I
leaning
have
more
them-
towards C personally, but I'm
C?
not fully opposed to B.
Yeah, I have Hanahor for B to C.
Okay. Both of you have Horn in C. Let's put Horn in C. Karax, where do we have him?
Karax, so yeah, he's pretty mutate resistance, but he doesn't clear very well, so that will be an issue for him. For clearing, your best bet is probably just like go Mirage and then like top bar everything. You probably still want cannons at home just for like a safety net in case you get a bad mutator. Because enemies are usually gonna be buffed a lot, clearing is perfectly fine, just your top bar and some mirages for support. Yeah, no, I think he's like A tier still. Like he's pretty mutator resistance. Not a lot of things screws him up, especially because you just have a mirage on the offense, and that's where most of the dangerous stuff will be. And top bar doesn't care that much.
Okay. How about you, Eviling?
Fully agree. Very mutator resistant. Pretty much the Zero named the combo that I was thinking about is Mirages with their phasing armor. You don't have to worry about them getting shot out and just have them spotting cleared away with. Please use your Solar Lance. I see way too many rando Karax players just orbital strike spam and just burning all that energy. It's like your Solar Lance is a very efficient means of using that energy. Does a lot of damage and it's cooldown based. So use your top bars while it's on off cooldown, and then if you need to clean up anything else, then use your orbital strike. Yeah. A to B on P3 definitely. Space laser's good.
What is Karax weak against?
Weak again.
Or what does he have to watch out for in terms of
Thanks.
mutators?
Maybe Eminent Domain.
Yeah, as the
Eminent
first.
Domain? Really?
Not really, but yeah, it's not. The
So why not
list is
S?
Kind of short. You know my reason why.
His clearing is slower than like Abathur Dehaka, which I still think should be S tier. But yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
not S.
Yeah,
There we go.
Yeah, he won't have the map cleared like pretty much for the whole
Yeah.
game because his clearing is just slow.
Abathur
you're
and
not
Dehaka are more
clearing-
aggressive.
Okay, if you say so.
Similar resistance but slower clearing. Pretty
Okay.
much. And clearing is still important because you want to finish the map faster when the last crystal spawns.
Yes. Let's move on. Kerrigan. Where do we have him?
Kerrigan. So she's usually pretty. I wouldn't say as mutation resilient as Abathur or Dehaka, but she does handle quite a few mutators. K and Omega Worms, very good. Omega Worms, as soon as Crystal is in, you see the Crystal, pop an Omega Worm, pop drone out, or ally pop drone out. That's the distance that you got to carry it. I have her from S to A.
S to A. How about you,
I
Zero?
would say-
I have her like A tier. Like worms are good, but she still has a few mutators to just make her either useless or just bad, kind of for the time being. Like a few worth mentioning, like Black Death or Double Edge, like that completely just stomp your hero. But yeah, worms are still good. I just don't think they're good enough to really have her in S tier.
Do you have an R? Do you have Oh wait, both of you have her in A tier?
Yeah.
Okay. I was about to say they have an argument for S tier. Okay. Both of you have Kerrigan A tier. Let's put her in A tier. Prestige wise, what do you want here?
Probably three.
Third one?
So, yeah. Because
Okay.
propagators are also an
Propagators
issue.
spawn.
Yeah.
Okay. So what else does she have to watch out for? You mentioned COVID. You mentioned double-edged. How about just die? Because that will completely nullify her immobilization wave. Well, at least damage-wise, because the units revive.
Okay, so we should have units, so you can still push into bases. It's just if you get just die on top of like Black Death, then yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
So it's all about like the weird combinations.
Pure Beam, no, she's actually good
Missile
against Pure
Command.
Beam. Missile Command, no, she has Omega Worms, she doesn't care. Propagators will target the Omega Worms, so don't leave them lying around, or make sure to put them in low ground so they get destroyed in the lava quickly. Don't provide
Rifts, if you get
fodder.
them at a weird time, can actually kind of mess them up. Just
Void
the
Rifts,
spawns for
yes.
Rifts are really awkward on this map for her.
Voidus could spawn at a weird time. Reanimators, no, she's fine against Reanimators. Laser Drill could be annoying,
Yeah,
especially
pretty
if
well.
If Kerrigan's the only guy you have in the field, the laser drill could be annoying.
Mhm.
Barrier? No, not really. Double edge, yes, that's the one that's obviously mentioned. How about fatal attraction?
Yeah, I think so. Your hero will just get pulled into the enemy base and then
Her
die.
splash won't really splash because the first unit she destroys will just pull her in and nullify the rest of her
Yeah,
damage.
diffusion also is pretty nasty.
Diffusion.
Yeah, if fatal attraction rolls, just start getting lurkers because they don't get pulled by
Yes.
fatal attraction because they're siege units.
And obvious.
One that screws over if Kerrigan's the only unit you have out, aggressive deployment.
Oh yeah.
I thought we agreed that aggressive deployment kind of doesn't work on Chaos Studios. Like it only spawns one wave and that's it. If that, because of the timings, the way the timings work.
It's not that's fair. It's not that big of an issue, but yeah, if it wipes out your mineral line, then it becomes an issue.
I guess.
Especially if it's aggressive deployment plus Black Death.
So the funny thing is, Kerrigan Borkers out heal Black Death just because of the creep.
Yes, that's true. So it's really just double edged that Kerrigan has to watch out for.
Diffusion on Black Death.
Diffusion, yes.
Fatal
And yeah,
attraction.
fatal attraction too. Oh, that's actually a few.
Yeah, it's a few.
Yes.
Could she be B tier then? Because that's quite a few mutators.
That's fair.
Are we demoting her to B?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, there's quite a
Okay
few
with that.
mutators that will just screw her over.
And
Okay, Kerrigan
B
down to
is
B
not
tier.
a bad place to be.
B is not a bad place to be. Yes. C is not a bad place to see either. Okay, let's move on. Nova, where do we have him?
Nova. So I think you're just gonna go P3 here. With
Yeah.
P3, your clearing will be pretty good. In fact, really good. The mutators aren't. There's some that screw her over, but for the majority of the time, it shouldn't be that big of an issue. Like even if you get like speed props between liberators, siege tanks, you're probably fine.
Spider Mines.
Yeah. If Spider-Man's good, even like double-edged, I don't think sabotage drone damages her. So
No,
yeah,
it
that
doesn't.
shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, your
it-
units you'll have to be pretty careful with, but you have airstrike for the waves, and the escorts aren't too large for
And
you to worry much.
even if the double edge does destroy her, for example, from her nuke, you can just revive her for like 500
Yeah.
minerals. Pretty cheap
Or
for
what you can do
for
is
top bar.
if you time it, you can airlift her before the nuke as the nuke is dropping
Yeah,
before
that's
it makes
cheaper.
impact.
That is cheaper.
Yeah, I think she's like 8 years still. There's a few mutators she may have to be careful with, but they're not like the end of the world for her, and she definitely won't be useless for the time being, like some commanders.
Okay, how about you, Eviling?
Yeah, she's still out there. She can get vision, drop sabotage drones, drop airstrikes. So she's always going to be able to progress the mission. There might be some mutators out there that you just got to be careful and you may need to slow down. But it's not like you have to stop completely and wait for the mutator to pass. So A to B is where I have her.
Okay, Nova and A. Prestige wise, you want the third one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what
Most
mutators
resilient.
does she have to watch for? Void Rifts.
Rift?
Yeah, Void
Yeah.
Rifts. She doesn't have. Well, she has Banshees, but nobody likes making Banshees.
Yeah, they're hard to use, so
Yes, it requires skill.
yeah.
Ew.
You
Yeah.
don't
If
normally
there's
make
void
Rift
risks and
anyway.
you got liberators out, you can just use that because it's not going to be out there for that long.
But it requires
Yeah, I
effort.
guess.
Ew. Who likes putting effort into their games?
Ew,
Ew,
micro. Ew.
What else?
Black Death you also have to be really careful with,
Oh,
so
yeah.
your units don't match
Yeah,
it.
if you have Black Death, just make sure you are on defense. And
Yeah.
if you want to be clearing the buildings quickly, that could be an issue because your units are better at clearing buildings than is Nova herself on her own.
In a weird way, evasive maneuvers, if you get an air comp, will kind of just make your liberators useless.
Yes.
And ravens.
Useless and sad. Don't
Yeah.
forget that. Don't forget the sad part.
Very.
Very sad.
For Black Death, keep in mind that Nova pretty much keeps up with the healing, even if she gets affected by Black Death. As long as you got her Sadducees reactor upgrade, which is her health and
Caduceus.
regen rate,
Even without the
she'll be
upgrade,
able to keep up with Black Death.
fine. Yeah. The upgrade just makes her out heal it. Without the upgrade, she's still not gonna die.
Okay. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, for Nova. Yeah, just most of these can be countered by the fact that you're only controlling one unit on the field, which is Nova herself. Okay, let's move on. Raynor, where do we have him?
Raynor, our favorite punching bag. Right now, E to F.
E to F.
Well known to not be mutation resilient. He relies And then one that really kind of screws him over, especially if he's not playing D1. Slim pickings, having your minerals
Permanently.
patches cut in half, permanently in half, so you'll be mining out quicker than you expect, and you might be left with no minerals at all.
Yes.
So he's very susceptible to many environmental mutators. Black Death wreaks havoc.
Actually, let's turn this around. What mutators is he good at?
Okay.
Aggressive deployment.
Scorched Earth, because you're
Aggressive
probably going
deployment,
P3.
Scorched Earth. There we go. Yeah, Scorched Earth.
Walking Infested.
Walking
probably.
Infested? Really? If you're going air, are you good against Walking Infested?
I guess like BCs fire pretty fast and Banshees of AoE, so you should be
Darkness?
okay.
Because you can just scan if you don't know where the crystals are?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have any more mineral fields, what else are you gonna do?
Be sad. Sad Raynor.
The interesting thing is he's if you prepare for it, he's not bad against speed boosts because you just lay spider minefields.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so
evasive
there's
maneuvers,
some...
spider minefields. If it's a ground comp,
If it's air, sad times.
if it's air, you sad times.
Sad times.
Yeah, evasive maneuvers and air comp. Yeah, BC's fire fast enough. They'll be about a hand.
All right, photon overload.
Photon overload.
Microtrans.
Microtransactions. Really?
Nah, not really.
He's not
Wouldn't say
particularly
so.
good at it. Okay, how about you, Zero? What do you have him?
I don't think he's that bad personally. I have him like C to D tier, just because once you get that air fleet, even if it's just sitting in
Just sit there. Just sit there.
your base, you can clear a decent chunk of the map with just the Hyperion and Duskwigs. So yeah, he won't be particularly useless a lot of the time, and he definitely won't make the mission harder just by existing, which is what I think qualifies for F.
Yes.
So yeah, I still think he's not that bad. Like he can definitely put in some decent work, and maybe not, at least like equal contribution kind of. So yeah, I think like C to D tier.
Okay. What do you think, Eviling?
I'm okay with D.
D.
I'm
Okay.
with D.
Both of you guys are okay with D. Let's put Raynor in D. Poor Raynor. How do you buff Raynor to be better against mutators?
I really like that idea that he starts off with the orbital command.
Yeah, but which
with orbital
mutators?
command with full energy.
Which mutators does that counter?
The Rifts, funnily enough.
What else? Like, it's no good buffing Raynor for one specific mutator.
In this case, we're kind of just assuming he kind of has less money just because slim pickings.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of unbiased towards him, like biased against him rather.
So
Yeah,
what we
it
should
doesn't
do
help it.
is nerf mineral shields. There we go. Nerf slim picking so that the minerals and gas are returned to full after it expires. That could be.
That would be fair.
That could be.
That would be fair.
What if Raynor's what if Raynor's Spider-Man's got a buff? They can also hit air. Would that be...
Be really good
Uh,
for the times where you don't have like environmental mutators, because you can just spawn camp every single wave,
Right?
no matter what it is.
That would.
See, on the rubber, if they
that
were
would
just
make-
free, that might be
That would
better.
make Raynor pretty competitive with a lot of strong commanders, I think.
Aside from that, make the Spider-Mines invulnerable once again when they're deploying. Kind of like what he did before, what he had before.
Yeah, could be
That'll
good.
make Raynor great again. Make Raynor
Or
awesome again.
instant arming spider mines like how Nova has.
Yeah, instant arming Spider-Mines. There we go. Okay, so that's some good ideas to buff Raynor. Let's move on though. Boy, where do we have him?
Statman, so he's known for being pretty mutator resistant. Like, I think the one thing that can screw him over here is propagators, which he's notorious for being bad against.
Yes.
But even then, it shouldn't be too big of an issue if they're not lasting that long. Like, you'll probably have to like keep track of them and then just either kill them before they reach satellites with either Gary or Banelings, which I think you should have a Baneling that's ready here just so you can morph some links into Banelings as soon as you see the propagators roll. But
He's
yeah,
so
if
good
you can
against
manage
everything else. He's so good against
Yeah, he's
everything else
just really
that he can nerf himself by putting a bailing nest, an unnecessary bailing nest, and still be fine.
Yeah. If you can manage that, I think he's like S tier still. Just have to be
S-tier
careful
still.
with propagators.
What do you think, Eviling?
Oh yeah, I have Stetmann firm S because
Firm.
he's very mutation resilient and he speeds up the mission.
Okay.
Because speeding up your worker going to the crystal and getting out, that's like, fantastic. So less of a chance for your ally to feed poops and screw you all over.
All right.
Definitely, I like, as Zero said, make that preemptive Baneling nest. The good thing is the first mutator set that spawns, there are a few mutators that are not allowed into that list. One is mineral shields, one is slim pickings, and one is propagators. So you have time to make Baneling nest, and even if
Yay.
you don't really use it, I mean, you still can make use of Banelings even if propagators never comes up. So yeah.
All right, so Raynor, or not Raynor, Stat Boy goes in S tier. There we go. What mutators does he have to watch out for? Just poops?
Propagators.
Nothing else? How about Void Rifts? What does he have against the first set of Void Rifts?
Lings.
That's kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
The
Does
one mutator you gotta kind of watch out. It's not seriously dangerous. Double edge. So yeah, if it comes up and you're releasing your
Double-edged.
E-Corps and it's on a whole bunch of stuff, you could pop Super Gary.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You can destroy Super Gary with double-edged. Even...
Just be mindful of that.
Yes. Laser Drill?
Highly unlikely, but yeah.
Laser Drill could focus down Gary. Then you have to retreat him.
It's just 50 damage a second, and he heals like for 20-ish, probably more with the link scrap.
Barrier will
So-
annoy him because what he can destroy before will now take longer at 2 E-Gorbs. But that's about it. It will annoy him.
Yeah, I don't think he struggles against anything much.
Aside from
Black Death
poops.
can be annoying. Yeah, even then, I think he's fine.
Very
Oh, like
flexible.
Blizzard
I
can
mean,
disable a
there's
lot of
Banelings
these
to protect
satellites.
against poops and everything else. You could
Use Super Gary.
if you don't want to send Super Duper Gary out, you can send a whole bunch of Mecha Roach and Ravagers out.
Watch out for Poopigators. Alright,
Yeah.
that's about it though. Let's move on. Stukov, where do we have him?
Stukov. So of course, the very most dangerous one that everyone knows for Stukov is Poopigators. You have your whole infested horde meandering about, and Poopigator spawns right in front of one, and it will spiral out of control real quick and result in a loss. I would suggest not going P3 and go with the safer route of P1, and yeah, just rely on Diamondbacks and siege tanks or liberators to clear the mission. It should be pretty straightforward at that point. I initially have him from B to C. I'm not opposed to putting him in A.
Hey, what do you think, Zero?
I'd personally still go with P3. Yeah, no matter what, you're gonna have like 1 or 2 mutators you struggle with, no matter what prestige. So he's not the greatest, but yeah, I think he can still put in a lot of good work. And yeah, once you get to like a big enough mass of P3 bunkers, you can kind of just not even we've just walk through the propagators. So yeah, I think he's like B tier still. He's not the most
B-tier.
resistance, but he's not terrible.
What do you think, Eviling?
I have Stukov initially from B to C, so
Okay.
B is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, he's surprisingly mutation resilient. Just gotta watch out for some things.
Yeah, obviously watch out for poops. Watch out for transmutation also, because your Diamondbacks have higher supply. So if you lose
If you're
one...
going P1, even like Black Death can screw you over.
Yeah, even things like COVID can screw you over. If you're going third prestige, environmental mutators can screw you over. The lava can screw you over. Yeah, it might delay you and stuff. But yeah, so that's why he's B. There we go.
Alright, Rifts. He's notoriously difficult against Rifts.
Rifts also true. Okay, you can use third prestige or first prestige, whichever you prefer. Let's move on. Swann, where do we have him?
Swann, so he's kind of like Karax, except he can't clear as well with his Tobar, so he's naturally just going to be a lot weaker here. His defense, if needed, kind of in a way, most of the time it's going to be better, but it's worse against like propagators, especially fast ones, just because Monolith's good and just zapping them. A Swann defense, well, Billy's will slow them. You don't really have the damage output to just instantly kill them like Monoliths would, so yeah, he's kind of just like worse Karax here, so I have him like B tier.
Wouldn't Wraiths be better at killing Poopigators? Because they move a shot.
Well, if it's a slow propagator, you're fine either way. It's just if it's a fast one that you can't really handle that well, in which case Wraith will just
You
get
got
killed
P1.
anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, P1 kind of works, but it makes your clearing worse.
So, letter?
B.
B.
Actually, wait, would P1 and Mass Factory work here? 'Cause if it does, I think he might be A tier.
A. It
If
would be
P1
kinda...
Factory works.
It would be kinda slow, but yeah,
If a Poopigator spawns, your factory ain't running away from it.
yeah, your
Unless
factory's
you-
not running away from
you're-
you.
How with the drill? Like if the drill's slowing it, then your factory I think outspeeds it.
Okay.
That's fair.
What do you think, Eviling?
I initially have Swann B to C. I'm not opposed to putting him in A. I'm still leaning toward the better, in my opinion, the best bet is P2 and just getting Wraiths out there and using Conk Theme to clear large swaths of the map.
Yeah, concentrate being pretty good. So, both of you are okay with A. Let's put SWAT in A. What mutators does he have to watch out for? Slip pickings? Microtransactions?
If you're going factories,
I guess it
don't think
depends
it's-
on which prestige you're going for.
Yeah.
If you're going for rates, you have to watch out for environmental stuff and microtransactions and even stuff like Fatal
Black
Attraction, COVID,
Black
yeah.
Death.
Whereas if you're going mass factories, you have to watch out for poops. Even stuff like lava burst, because factories are pretty slow. Laser drill would deal a lot of damage to your factories.
Nah, not enough. Like,
It
yeah,
deals a lot.
laser drill is not an issue.
It deals a lot of damage.
It deals like 50 damage a second, and you're sending like 20,000 health.
Not 20. Well, I guess if you make that many
10
factories.
factories is 20,000 health.
But that's more fodder for poopigators.
I guess so, but you also have the drill props.
I guess
that's a whole
the
other issue.
factory is just more resilient in general, but it's slower. So it really depends on what you go with. Okay, let's move on. Tychus, where do we have him?
Tychus.
So-
He's pretty strong. You get a right mutator set, he'll pretty much steamroll things pretty readily. You get the most notable mutations that people usually F2, F2, F10 out is double edge and fatal attraction, which does hurt Tychus, but it's still doable and it's not going to be there for the rest of the map. If double edge rolls, you definitely gotta back Tychus off, but Sirius still can work, Vega still works, Cannonball works, so it's otherwise, I think he's, for the most part, he'll play like a normal B+1 unless something really nasty comes up. If Black Death comes around, you kind of screwed. You definitely gotta get a healer out and manage it. And once Black Death cycles out, once your outlaws pass away and you revive them, they won't have Black Death. A to B.
A to B. How about you, Zero?
I personally think he's S tier. There's no mutator that will make him like completely useless, even if it's like double-edged, and you lose your outlaw. That's 250 minerals, which you don't really care that much about. And other than that, he clears really fast. He's pretty resistant. Like, I don't think anything will just completely screw him over. And I love the harder mutators he's really good against. So yeah, I think S tier makes sense for him.
What do you think, Eviling?
You know my stance on it. He doesn't have any way to speed up the mission. He'll clear the mission quickly, but not getting the crystals back faster. It puts him in the same spot as Abathur and Dehaka, in my opinion.
Do you have a case for... Are you going to make a final case for S tier, Zero? Or
No.
No. It's pointless.
It's pointless.
All right. It's not unanimous, therefore it's not S tier. Therefore, Tychus goes down to A tier. This could be interesting later on. So, aside from the ones mentioned of obviously double-edged and obviously polarity, what does Tychus have to watch out for?
Not much.
Not much.
Black Death, you'll
Just
kind of have
watch
to be
out for
careful.
polarity.
Yeah, polarity, obviously.
You just kind of facing it.
How about the eminent domain for
Eco-trans.
Sirius?
I mean,
Not
it
that big.
can be annoying, but like, as long as you're not putting them next to your CC and then letting them die by the enemies, you should be okay.
Okay. What else? Alien incubation? He gets surrounded and stuff?
No, not really. He has enough damage resistance on armor that he's fine against it.
You say so. Wait, is Hardened Will not on here? I'm pretty sure Hardened Will is included. Maybe it's just
Doesn't
Nexus
say it.
Co-op. I know I've encountered that in Nexus Co-op. Is it not on here?
Apparently not.
That's
My
interesting.
grill doesn't say it
Harden
is.
Will and the other one, Inspiration, right?
Yeah, Inspiration
It's not here either.
is not on here either. Huh.
I don't recall ever seeing it on NFQ. So
I remember seeing it maybe in
It's-
Nexus Co-op. Not sure if in this version. I guess not on here. So
and there's no mutually assured destruction. So I know we mentioned that earlier.
I know I
in the
did.
video.
Yeah, I know. That's interesting. It's more limited than I thought. Anyway, so that's not a lot of mutators that he's weak against, but he's not S. Let's move on. Vorazun, where do we have him?
Vorazun, so yeah, if you get Black Death, it's probably better to just place like a Nexus slightly forward. So at least when you get Black Death and your units catch it, they don't respawn at your mining Nexi. But yeah, even then, she's kind of just gonna be useless for the time being.
But your allies just giga screwed.
Yeah, she's not much better against like the other mutators even like the apple edged. While Sky Fury makes you immune to it, you can't really slap buildings or like big hybrid with it. And yeah, good luck with the waves. So
Good luck with the
she's not
waves.
very good. So I have her
Especially
like C tier.
airwaves. C tier. How about you, Eviling?
Yeah, I have Vorazun from B to C.
B
I got
to
a
C.
question. So make a forward nexus, and then you got an environmental mutator like going nuclear and lava burst come up. No
Yeah.
more forward nexus. Okay.
What's wrong with the forward nexus? You can just put it in front of the actual nexus, like to the
Oh,
south
okay,
and to
got
the east, not on the other high ground, not that far forward, just slightly further forward.
Okay, slightly further forward is, and
Yeah.
then if you have your forward nexus, if you have your expansion, you got to build a forward nexus
Yeah.
forward to that one, right?
Yes. So C tier.
Yeah.
These go out.
Okay, Vorazun C tier. So, whew, lots of mutators here. The economy ones will hurt her. Void reanimators even could be annoying. Void rifts, you need skill. You need to have Dark Templar at the ready. You need to be Ankalagan. We Move Unseen is definitely as annoying to her as it is to Han and Horner. Ah, that's why they're both in C tier. There we go. Because they hate We Move Unseen. They can't see. That's why they're in C. Temporal field? No, not really. You just blink past it. Outbreak could be an issue when you don't have cadence, although you should probably have cadence. Double edge, definitely. COVID, 100%. That's an F tier element, but not necessarily will make your F tier. That's just an element of F tier. Yeah, that's a lot of them.
Dark Templar, you still need to be aware of propagators if you don't have enough ETs to Shadow Fury them.
Yes. All right, let's move on. Zagara, where do we have him?
In my opinion, she's with P3. She's relatively mutation resistant. Black Death will definitely hurt her, but she has queens to kind of stave it off of it. Otherwise, she has a very quick to make army to supplement that, so she can pivot if need be. P1 doesn't have that type of pivot capability. If you have stuff like void rifts come up, or you need bounce around, Deep Tunnel is a great aspect. I have Zagara from B to C.
B to C. How about you, Zero?
I personally had her in A tier. The heroine is very mutator resistant. Like, I don't think there's any mutator that will stop the hero. Even like Black Death, the Zagara shouldn't really be affected by it, just because she mostly uses her skills to fight. Yeah, she has Deep Tunnel in case you get it for like rifts. She is probably the best commander for propagators here, especially speed propagators.
Yes, the best for propagators.
She clears really well, so the map will probably be cleared. There's nothing that really stops her. Transmutation can be annoying, but then you just don't fight with your army, which isn't
how about We
necessarily
Move
a
Unseen?
bad thing.
She can Deep Tunnel,
Move
but
Unseen.
can her detection Deep Tunnel?
You can't see.
You can
But
still
her-
kill the rifts if that's the issue.
Yeah, Baning
If-
Barrage she killed.
Yeah, and if you're just
You can
fighting
see.
regular enemies with We Move Unseen, then you just make Overseers, because you don't really need them jumping around.
Yes.
So yeah, I think
What
A
if-
tier makes sense.
What if the Deep Tunnel's on cooldown and, for example, she's surrounded or she's being targeted by going nuclear?
That is very specific, and then you just have your units anyway, because you're banking a lot of resources by soloing with the hero.
How about Fatal Attraction? Is that an issue?
Fatal Attraction, not really. You send your hunter killers in, or Baneling Barrage, and then you go back.
Okay.
And then, unlike most other heroes, she doesn't really care about double edge, Baning Barrage, and Hunter Killers. Her auto attack dash doesn't really do much. So her abilities are her damage, and they don't feed back into her double edge.
Okay. So she's A tier?
I think so.
I'm fine with A tier.
Okay. Zagara in A tier. It's a lot of A tiers. Zeratul, where do we have him?
Alright, Zeratul. So this guy is quite known for being very mutator resistant, so he won't be struggling with too many of them. Of course, there are some key ones you may have to watch out for, but we'll get for those a bit later. His clearing is actually really good also, and so the map will be very clear by the time you most likely get a dangerous mutator. As for the dangerous mutators that he has to worry about is double-edged. His units are just really high dealing damage, so double-edged will screw them if you're not careful.
Yes.
Best bet is probably still like stalkers, and then just link around when you get double-edged. I'd also recommend going for the monoliths and just like some cannon disruptor defense at home in case you roll like propagators. Well, without the disruptors first, only when you see either propagators or speed freaks, I'd recommend adding some disruptors. Just because when you got the monolith and disruptor, speed propagator shouldn't be too big of a threat. Yeah, so he has pretty good early game. He's very mutator resistant, and he clears pretty well. So I think he's like A or S.
A or S. Okay. How about you, Eviling?
Yeah, I agree. He's I have him from A to B. Pretty much Zeratul's real worst mutator that he has to deal with would be Killbots, which doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist here,
Chaos
apparently.
Studios. So, hooray. Yeah. Black Death is an issue, but Double Edge can be worked around. Otherwise, he has a lot of tools, very flexible.
That's why Zeratul.
Yeah. So A to B. I think.
Okay, both of you agree with
His usual
A.
place is in A.
Yeah, both of you agree with A. Let's put Zeratul in A. So, what mutators does Zeratul have to watch out for?
Black Death,
COVID?
double-edged.
Double-edged. How about concussive
What else?
attacks?
Not really. I assume you're just gonna go for the blinking power here.
So just don't even walk, just blink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, not much. Even like microtransactions, his units are low supply, so he won't be losing very much.
If you blink a lot, it will cost a lot.
Guess so, but it's like 3 blinks Yeah, 3 blinks will cost a unit 6/6, which really isn't that much. Just when you have like, and he doesn't have a lot of units either, so yeah, I think it's not that big of an economic drain.
Okay, so that's about
You
it.
really need the money to just hang around for a while and wait for it to cycle out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so who's top of S tier?
Stetmann,
Okay, Stetboy, and then Arcturus. Who's top of A tier?
Dehaka,
Dehaka, and then Abathur,
Abathur, yeah.
and then Tychus. The guys who are S
Tychus.
tier, but unfortunately they don't speed up their crystal collection process. That's why they're only A. And then who's next? Karax?
Zagara?
Zagara? Karax?
Either
'Cause
Karax
I don't
or
really see a
Nova.
weakness for. Yeah?
Yeah, I think
I'd say
Karax.
Zeratul before Karax because Zeratul can go more offensive.
Sure. Yeah, I guess you can also deal with speed props a bit better.
Okay. Oh, what was he doing here? And then Nova?
Yeah, Nova.
And then Swann, then
Then-
Artanis. Artanis, then Swann.
I think Swann Artanis.
Swann, Artanis. Okay. So who's top of B?
Of B.
Kerrigan?
Kerrigan, yeah.
And then
Stukov, I think.
Stukov. And then?
Phoenix.
Alright. Who's top of C? The guys who can't see.
Horner, I think.
Horner.
She doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't have a mutated that will make her F tier.
Okay. And then Raynor goes in D tier. Alright, that's a very A heavy list, guys. Alright, hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. If you have an idea for it also, please leave it in the comment. I'll see you guys next time.